Peace, greetings, everyone. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, everyone. Peace, Chief Yuya. Shalom to you as well. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our annual fellowship. I will let you can hear me, and I am clear. I always have to check before we start. Let me turn off all of my things. Let me turn off everything. But greetings again, Peace Chief Yuya. Welcome. Thank you for being in space. Greetings, Achoti Yafe. Greetings, Imanaya. Ima Yakira Eden. Love the logo. Looking sharp. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know that I am loud and clear. Shabbat Shalom. It is and has been Sabbath for a couple hours now where I am. So um, it's always a joy and a pleasure to just open space and share space with everyone. And so, I feel like I say the same thing all the time, but it's really true. It's like, it sounds like a broken record, but it's really true. It is a joy. It is a joy, and it's something to celebrate. So why not celebrate the end of a cycle, the end of a strong, and the pulling away from the rest of the world in a sense, and being able to, just link up and line up and, organize and centralize, like some people say, with my community, with my Anubian family, with my Aelites, right? And so that's really important for us to link up and have a space where we could connect and build and grow together and celebrate together too. If I'm not mistaken, I heard about melons and things like that. So yeah, I'm all for it. Um, but I like to open the space with just some really sacred words, right? Words are, there's just that frequency of being able to express gratitude and just express even minimally, and maybe it shouldn't be minimally, but even minimally express. And there are times when words can't, the English words I know, is what I should say, cannot express the level of gratitude and the amount of appreciation and the amount of, you know, realistic acknowledgement of what we have, right? And who we have and who we can lean on. Like there sometimes I can't even find English words that literally can really explain and go in deep. So sometimes you just need a psalm maybe or proverbs. Those things they seem to hit the mark sometimes when it's time to, just express gratitude or when you're in a space where you want to offer worship, right? But today I want to open and I just want to greet you all in the space with deep compassion and gratitude and, joy as well too. I want to greet Chief Yuya because without your light, I am just chaos. That's it. Just this dark space right here. um, and I want to express honor and gratitude to the Elohim, which offers us life, and for the portion of life and soul that animates us, right? And animates me, because without that, I won't be moving, I won't be doing it, I won't be, right? So I give honor and reverence for that and for the space too. And I want to respect that space, and I want to open up the space for you all to share anything, any words of gratitude that you would like to share in the space, because I definitely, the most recent podcast that Chief has shared with us, really, it was hitting when it came to really allowing us to really pause and think about if we really truly do reflect daily in truth and in deed, right? Daily on how we function and how we move, there will be time and place and space to actually acknowledge and celebrate accomplishments in one way, shape, or the other. But sometimes we don't do that, and because we don't do that, we lack the ability to actually reflect and see what was good, right? And of course see what was absolute trash and should not be repeated. Don't do it again. um yeah, so it was that acknowledging of being able to pause and celebrate something, anything, and I work with youth. I've been working with youth for a while, but back again at it. And I am like, they find the tiniest things to rejoice over, right? They find the tiniest things to celebrate. And those tiny celebrations, they allow for you to actually see, okay, this is what I've done or accomplished that is, it's of a benefit, not just to me, but most times we celebrate, and when we're able to celebrate things and we feel really good about it, is because it was something that helped us to grow, but it also helped someone else in many ways. All right. And I think that's a huge part of it, is that connection to others, that when I do something, when something is accomplished or done, you could always pull back, and yes, you celebrate, but then you realize you're celebrating others, right? You could celebrate that someone benefited from this, or an opportunity opened up for another. Yeah, there's just so many things to celebrate, so many experiences, not things, experiences to celebrate. Um, so yeah, I would love to just peek into our journey this strong, take a peek into each of our experiences this strong, and just for you to share really quickly. It doesn't have to be anything wrong, but just share some anything that you want to express gratitude for, any of your moments of celebration as well too, that you had this strong after listening to the podcast, anything. And I know we are to be celebrating after the challenge, but it's a celebration when you could drop and actually do push-ups, and then the day after you can't write, or your arms feel like they're gonna drop off, right? My experience. So I have to say, I am so grateful for these arms, because I am not a push-up person at all. No, but I'm gonna be after this. Okay, but it is. Yeah, I am excited, and I'm laughing, and I'm because it is indeed a beautiful experience to be able to say I could pause and tune in and plug in to my ear likes, and we could all say the same regardless of where we are on the planet right now. If you're on the planet, because maybe you're doing meditation and you're not there, right? Maybe this is your meditation moment and you're not on this planet. I don't know, baby. All right. I see some more new family members coming in, some more guests. Welcome, everyone. Those of you who are tuning in later on, because maybe you did not get to experience an new fellowship live, well, you missed out. So next time, subscribe, lock in, and when you get the notification, come on in. All right. So I want to welcome those of you who are listening later on. Put your names in the chat, in the comment section after, so we could greet you, But for those who are new members who are coming in, peace after Ahava, peace Imakuya, Awayada Ram, welcome. Awayada Ram says, Shabbat Shalom, Chief. Glory of the day. Love and harmony to you as well. Ima Yakira Eden is sharing a little bit. I'm going to read it after. I just want to greet everyone. I also see, wait. I think I'm scrolling too fast because I know how I am. I get behind. Ras Kush, Ras Kush, greetings. That's MGC Randy. Aki Zach Latimer, peace. Safta Gertrude, on the ones and twos, welcome. All right, everybody's in the space and y'all are sharing, which is beautiful. I'm going to start off with Ima Yakira Eden. She shares being able to offer gratitude simply for grace is ever present. Toda for the opportunity to even express it. This, yes. There's just like and we have to create opportunities for ourselves to be able to express it in all shapes and forms, right? We could express gratitude in so many ways. And for those of us who are on here and have listened to the podcast, talking about, and I know I said the podcast, but there could be many podcasts, but it's only, like the most popular podcast out there right now. Yuya. So the podcast 81 really gets us to delve into those moments and those opportunities with the love letters, right? And the writing and the journaling. The journaling is a crucial part because you could reflect in there, but you could also offer like little moments of gratitude for all of, all the things that you experience during the day. And you're like, oh, wow, this one small thing, this one small thing just opened so much for me, or it meant so much. It is very important to find ways to express gratitude. And when you're given that opportunity to do so, do it. Because sometimes we pull back, or maybe we get shy, or we just forget, we forget to offer that gratitude. And I think it's really important. Safta Ahava says, I am grateful for health and healing as I am able to enjoy our community challenge. Yes, indeed. Yes, the community challenge is indeed a great opportunity for that, right? Great opportunity for us to say, yeah, my body can do this. I'm grateful. Or no, my body cannot do this, but it will be. It's going to do this. Yes, do these. It's going to be able to do this. So yes. And then we could be grateful and celebrate after. Akira again says, re-celebration, the podcast prompted me to look back at all that was accomplished this Gregorian, despite what has not yet been done. Indeed. That reflection piece is really important. It really is. It really is, because we do get in the dumps a lot about, I'll speak for myself, right? Because I know it's we, it's we. I don't want to make it seem like, it's not something that we all do experience, or probably experience one moment or the other, but sometimes we get so down in the dumps about what was not accomplished, it blinds us, it disconnects us, it blinds us, and so then you lose sight, you lose sight of the vision that has been given to you, right? You lose sight of it. So that reflection piece is really important, and the celebration. It is. It really is. Imanaya says, I'm grateful to be able to celebrate and show gratitude. I noticed a variety of things throughout the day. Watched a horse gaze, completely unbothered by anything going on around it. It made me grateful. I like the word unbothered, because unbothered doesn't mean unaware and unconscious, The horse is selecting what it allows to infiltrate. It really is. This is so true. Yeah, just the beauty of life and small things, little experiences, little experiences. It just, it's a beautiful thing to be able to behold the evidence of the presence of the Elohim, or, like in our environment naturally, and in that moment you could connect with the horse. I mean, no, seriously. I know it's some kind of new age and corny, but it's, like it's not, you know, it's not. Like Zach says, I'm grateful for the roadmap and blueprint that has been laid down so I can move with confidence and surety through the world. Also, share light with others in the dark with a blessing. Indeed. Indeed. Like that's the charge, right? That wherever we are, we ought to make, like we have to build up wherever we are. We have to make it good, right? And it makes sense. Like if you're in a space and like you spit shine, why wouldn't you want to shine, bring light to everyone else? Why wouldn't you want to share and allow for others to be raised up as well? Right? I think that's the beauty of what some of what Anu charges us to do, you know, even in this time, in terms of how, like recruiting and just engaging with everyone, allowing for what we do and how we move to speak for itself. Yeah, that's how we affect change in the lives of others too. I really appreciate the sharing some of what you're grateful for, because it's like we don't always get to, we get to build and have conversation and so on. This is true. And we do get to study, but many times we study, but there are, and we build around our study topics, which is, hot right now. It's hot on the 12 right now because everything is about 12 tribes right now. Everything, stones, names, you name it. We deep into it. And it's fun. It's a lot of fun. But there's a part of us that we don't get to. We don't get to check in and share. Here's what the strong was like. Here's what this day was like. Here's something that moved me today, and move me, not just move me, because I could say, oh, I feel good, or it made me feel good, but it's moving me because I'm able to see, like really see the goodness in life, right? I think one of the important things that stood out to me from the midday affirmative on something unholy was a point that Chief shared. One of the points he shared was that, like we are moving, we're moving. And if we're moving, and the holiness is what is propelling us. And if we didn't have that holiness propelling us, we wouldn't be, so I think it's critical to think about how, like, the choices we make in our journey, right? Are we choosing, we're choosing. Sometimes we're choosing that unholiness, right? It's a choice. It's a choice. So yeah, I definitely, I'm grateful for all of the shares. And it's still, okay, there's some static. I can probably try to go out and come back in. You said that a good while ago, Chief, so I will try to fix it. I'll try to fix it. I can't end the broadcast. That would not look good. That wouldn't be right. It's not gonna work. Bye. back again. um, please let me know as quickly as you can if there's still static and half of my head is chopped off. I do apologize because I'm leaning forward. But let me know if you're still hearing any of the static or if it has cleared up. I will that it has because I know sometimes that can be a bit annoying. A bit annoying. Ada Yadaram says, Abba Yada Ram. I apologize because I just said something unholy a minute ago. I am grateful for having a song mind, seeing so many people from the past that in the present are having mental challenges. Yeah. Ooh, that the mental challenges. It just yeah, and this you're talking about grown folks. Last night on um, my Sovereign Needs podcast, I talked a little bit about an experience with one of the youth that I work with, and how his whole demeanor changed during a lesson. Like his whole his aura, everything just shifted, and I could see it changing. And that after I got to speak to him, and he shared that it was just, you know, mental thoughts, negative thoughts that created fear for him. It created so much fear that it just shifted his whole countenance. Everything changed. And I know mental challenges happen in many different ways, and they affect us and affect people's lives in different ways. And there's so many we could. I want to pause on everybody's share because there's just it can take you down into a different pathway. Each of their shares has its own, like value and its own vessel of lessons inside, that we can pull from, um, and talk about even the whys. I know he talks a lot about generational curses and how those inflict um, pain, but not just pain, but uncultured behavior for generations. Like we're just moving without following a specific type of culture or living, a righteous life. And sometimes that has an effect on not just the body, but the mind, you know, and the brain. And so we see the challenges, and we don't even know where it comes from or what the source is. Um, but there are times when we could pinpoint the source if we go back into, like the history of our family lineage sometimes. Some of it is there, and not just the biology of it. And, like I'm talking about um, deeds, acts, um, experiences, things that have happened and occurred, and how those things, they trigger other experiences later on in the generation or the lineage. You know, I mean, typically Israel's journey in scripture. Eva Akuya says, I celebrate. Oh, this was at a Yada Ram. And Ima says, I celebrate and I'm thankful for the constant opportunities that come my way, especially when I'm uncertain of myself when it comes to educating others. Yeah, when you can pull something out of another person. Yeah, I'm trying not to pause on each one of these. I'm trying not to pause on each one, but I do want to share it because I asked. Imanaya says she's grateful for the variety of food that we have access to. The challenge makes me grateful to share space and be encouraged with likes. Yes, yeah. I think a lot of the challenge is on everyone's minds. And on your bodies too, because some people are sore, I'm sure, but that's fine. You know, Adeyaram says also, grateful for my community. Though many have their own growing bends, we all still take the time to build and encourage each other on their journey. Yeah, that's such a crucial part, right? That exchanging of encouragement. See, that's and sometimes encouragement just comes from being able to do a challenge together. There you go. Being able to say, oh no, here's the standard. Here are the things we're gonna do. Let's join in. Let's all do these together. Um, that in itself is encouragement. Being on the Shima and the Anu Fellowship builds in the evenings, on Yom Shishi, that's encouragement. Um, Thank you, Chief. I'm not sure if it was fixed, but thank you very much for pointing that out to me. Master Menelek speaks of his gratitude for the people who are in his life. He says, sometimes I think about moments I've shared with the onlookers may watch me sitting alone smiling like an idiot. Never mind them. Never mind them. Everybody have their moment. Never mind those onlookers. They're too fast. Never mind the onlookers. Laugh it up, smile it up. Yafe says, grateful for being given challenges. Podcast 81 of Light. Prep for rebirth. Sloughing off suit and getting physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally ready for battle. And MGC says he's grateful that Yah has provided a new day for another chance to redeem those in his bloodline. Bloodline is crucial. Okay, Chief. That was static is gone. Thank you. Awesome. I read barrel chest and my whole brain went somewhere else. I was like, what is the barrel chest about? Where's your example going? I appreciate that example. It is not abstract. Thank you. I am grateful for breath. Indeed. Indeed, I had to take a long deep breath there. As I watch this broadcast, I see my barrel chest and big stomach moving up and down, demonstrating my ingesting of ether. So I am grateful for still being in this life. Indeed. Indeed, indeed, indeed. Indeed. Oh my goodness. Indeed. Hey. So it's the simplest things, Chief, is the simplest things that aren't as simple as we think. It's the simplest things. So I am grateful. I'm grateful for your share. Aki Zach says the psychology that's offered here, spirituality that's offered here, practical things that can be applied here too. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. He also says, and I have become a better man, friend, brother, uncle, and so on. I'm grateful for the peace that has come along too. Also cultivating healthy relationships. I can go on. Yes, yes. Keep going. Keep going. With everyone's share, you just see all of the layers that we can be grateful for, right? And that goes right along with the podcast, because what you're celebrating, what you're giving thanks for, what are you pausing to appreciate in your journey? What are you pausing to praise and to offer worship for? Because that's how we bring more of that into our journey. So being grateful and offering gratitude, we could compare it to the reciting of a psalm. and offering praise, because whatever we offer praise for, we try to multiply it and bring it forward, not so we can hold and hog, but so it can help us be more for others and bring it and share it with others. So it's, if it's a long list, like make the list flow. Make the list flow. Listen, so it is 8:05 and I have not even jumped into Blue Flame yet. All right, but sometimes the chat and our bills and the way we share, it steers everything where it's supposed to go. Sometimes I think that that's what's happening, you know. Sometimes I think that that's what's happening. Greetings, Jeanette. Jeanette Askew. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. She says ancestors. Yes, indeed. You are on Facebook, so welcome, 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 welcome from Facebook land. And feel free to share more. I know sometimes we tend to say one thing because we feel like this is a space to share. So if you want to share more, you can. Akizak continues. He says, I'm grateful for being able to sidestep conversation that would have had me tied up before because I didn't know any better and would ruminate on them after the conversation was done. And they would have won because they would have taken you down a rabbit hole and now you're stuck in a hole by yourself. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Indeed, exactly as she said. Indeed. Indeed. I'll pause for now, but I can keep going. What an honor. I asked for something of value to give to people and found that no. What a blessing. Indeed. Indeed, indeed, indeed. Indeed. And the more you share, the more you talk about it, the more you realize, well, people need it. We all need it. We all were given that opportunity at one point. A hand extended, right? A hand extended so we could come up the mountain, following the silverback. And we have to then, in turn, do the same. We have to do the same. We have to do the same. We have to do the same because so many are in the positions that we are in, right? And need it, and need it. And in many ways, some are followers of the way and don't know it, and they just need a word song, or they need a podcast, or they need just sometimes just one simple response. It doesn't have to be something, like we practiced or whatever, but sometimes just a simple response sometimes is enough to reignite a flame in another person, right? And get them on a path that we're on, right? Just our excitement alone for Anu and how it has, offered us so much in our journey. That's enough. That alone is enough to get others, to say, well, I want to sip of that water. My lips cracking. I'm dry. I need a sip of that water. So that they too can, grow. Definitely. I really appreciate all of the shares. I think I skipped some people. I'm sorry, I think I skipped you, Master Wendy. Like you said, that you're grateful for being introduced to such righteous way of living and the growth we share as we support one another. Give thanks for community. Indeed. Indeed. This is an outpouring. This is an outpouring, and it's really an opportunity again, always for us to share and to get into each other's minds, to see how, we're thinking and what we appreciate, because we don't always get to do that. We don't always get to do that. And soon we will, because our retreat is right around the corner, right around the bend. I mean, like literally right around the corner. I'm counting the days. Other people counting the days, counting down the days for something else. That's them. I'm counting down the days. I appreciate the opportunity that I have been given for that too, right? It's coming. It's coming. And it's going to be good. Really good. Aki Zach says, I'm actually not done. Okay. That was 7 minutes ago, so I'm a little bit behind. I apologize. He says, I'm grateful for a community that I can speak with when I don't understand something. Folks that can call me out and hold me up when I'm slacking. Indeed. Indeed, indeed, indeed. All my limbs in working order. Thank you. Indeed. That offering of gratitude reminds me of Chief's offering, like where we could see how our physical body, the evidence is in proper order, right? And it's sometimes we don't have to go as far as, being able to observe a horse. And I'm just pulling on earlier share, right? We don't always have to go outside of ourselves to see that evidence. It's really a beautiful thing. Today, this evening, I really wanted us to just share a little bit about blue flame. Blue flame came to mind because I started thinking about just when you think about anything that's really hot on fire. Okay, I'll be honest. I was thinking about it while I was doing push-ups the very first night. It was when I started. And all I could think about was the heat. Not the pain, because I don't get pain in my muscles until 2 days after. That's when I get the pain. But there's that burn. And when I was doing the squats too, when I started doing the squats, there was a burn, and all I could think about was heat and fire. And it led me to think about fire breaths. I don't know if some of you are probably familiar with fire breaths. And fire breaths being a breathing technique that actually can inspire. It can actually invigorate you. It can actually increase blood circulation. It can actually open up, just the thinking and afford for you to have clarity. Fire breaths are an opportunity for you to use a healing modality that will, get you moving. But I just thought of all of the different things that we do with our bodies. And when we exert our bodies and we delve into movement, how it offers us an opportunity to think clearly, like I said before. You become inspired, invigorated. It's almost like you have lit a fire, right? When they say light a fire under your behind, listen. It's literally, I couldn't help think about how it is like your body is literally on fire, moving, and everything else just flows throughout the day because guess what? Or whenever, right? Because the very first time I did it was in the evening. And for a good bit of time, I was just in like super think mode, in a sense, and wanting to do and churn out. So I really, as we're talking about this, I just wanted to pause and share a little bit about, like where the idea of the theme blue flame came from, and it being connected to heat and the heating of the body. And as I thought of that, I couldn't help but to connect it to the idea of being filled with the Spirit of the Most High. Being filled with the Spirit of the Most High, that you're so inspired that you can accomplish, you could do, you could move, and even move from one level of exercise or the mental challenge or the emotional challenge to another level, right? Because that movement, right, it's almost like momentum. And when you pick up momentum, when a vehicle or any moving body picks up momentum, that momentum alone drives it. It drives it. So the idea of blue flame, I just couldn't help but think about how we look, or what we look like as a body, as a community on fire, like literally functioning from a source that is hotter than what we normally see. Because when we see fire, we normally see the red, right? We normally see the orange, those shapes. Well, not red, but I don't know. I'm on a red thing right now. But we see orange. We see orange flames. And the reason we're seeing that orange flame is because they're portions that are further away from the source of the heat of the fire, that is burning slower. So because of the fact that it's burning slower, there's less oxygen in that space. There's even more oxygen when it's closer to the flame. And if you ever I grew up with gas stoves, and I noticed that there are places here. I'm in North Carolina. There are places here where people do use gas stoves. If you have a gas stove, if you have an electric stove, crap will smoke your pipe. Sorry, I have an electric stove. But if you have a gas stove, you can turn it on and see it. You can actually see a blue flame. I have not seen a blue flame in years. I am telling you, except for the blue flame you see on a Bunsen burner. Like if you have done any science experiments or whatever on the Bunsen burner, because that area is the hottest, actually. And there are times you know, when I think about the heating, right, and that idea of the blue flame, I think about what drives us, like what's at our core, and what level of heat, I guess, that drives us and pushes our momentum so we can continue to function and move and accomplish. You know, there's just and you all can drop your ideas in the chat about how you connect to the idea, the concept of blue flame throughout the challenge as you're moving, and accomplishing your movement, even doing your meditation. Hmm, hmm, hmm. Maybe that's something to do a meditation on. I did not think of that. It just came to me. Maybe that's something that I would do. Yeah, okay, that's something I'm gonna do. But yeah, what is driving us, so at our core, during those times when we're doing the challenges and we think about the fact that there are 20 other members or 20 other airlines doing the same thing. Maybe not at the same time, right? But maybe even possibly 4 or 5 of us maybe doing the same thing at the same time. And what pushes us to do more and accomplish more. I'll just pause because I am going to okay, there's a lot happening in the chat. So let me just go back to the chat because I veered off for a moment, y'all, on the blue flame. Sorry. Aki Zach says, I'm grateful for the retreats that we can get together and build in the physical, the wonderful food and fellowship, and being undefeated in kickball. That's correct. I wasn't in kickball yet. I daydreamed about kickball for days to be a part of it. Up to now, no kickball for Sister Moreyah. Next time. Next time. For those of you who are tuning in, this is Anu Fellowship. We are building. It is a community built with our ALIKes. If you are ALIK, it means that you could be alike and see alike, and you can connect with us and our culture and the way we do things, the way we think, the way we're functioning. yeah, jump on into the chat and share with us. Greetings and welcome, Christina Dion. Before I do that, Aki Zago's laughs are what have me randomly smiling like and sometimes. Okay. Yes, you remember anything you remember. You remember the times, the happy times, some of the challenges together, and yeah, of course, you can't help it. You can't help but to smile. MGC Randy says, I'm grateful to be able to give and receive life. Christina Dion says, please, please pray for me. Going through terrible situations at work, handling a rude boss, pressurizing, mean clients, cunning colleagues, and heavy workload. I am broke, burned out, frustrated, and stressed. Right. Yeah, one of the things as I scroll down, I think of a previous experience in our chat, and we were talking, and someone shared about the idea of prayer and praying. And so prayer is very similar to praying, right? So you're actually putting yourself at the feet of something else, because the question now becomes, well, we don't pray in our new, that's not part of our culture. But then now the question becomes, for you, who are you praying to if you're praying, right? And if you are in a position where like you've identified all of these, what seem to be things that you're identifying as negatives, what is the alternative? What is the alternative? Have you sought other positions where you can, engage with people who are respectable, based on what your standard is? Have you found, or looked for, rather, not found, but looked for other opportunities that would offer you to time and space to work within your ability, because you're identifying that the workload is heavy? Have you done so? And when it comes to the point about being burned out and broke and frustrated, it's this is a heavy time. This is a heavy time at this moment in terms of what everyone's going through, and the struggle, and the stress that you're talking about. Maybe you can share a little bit more, because some of it is a little bit just, some of it is a little bit vague, but there are opportunities, right? There are opportunities for, and when I say opportunities, not necessarily for work. There are opportunities for work, but there are opportunities for you to connect with a community. So, that way the frustration and the stress, you do not feel like that frustration and that stress you have to, like bear on your own, because if you're a part of a community where you have wise counsel, that wise counsel will help to guide you, will help to give you instruction so that you're functioning and moving the way you should. Another thing I actually wanted to ask too, if you have a covering or a mate, because many times a covering and a mate, and a man I'm speaking of, is a crucial part in our lives, right? If you are a woman, Christina Dion, all right? And sometimes that's all you need, because you will get clear direction and instruction on what to do, and how to move, right? Even in this time. So sometimes I acknowledge that what you're sharing can be frustrating and can cause stress. There are things that we have to consider too, moving forward. Thank you for sharing. I'm going to scroll down because I know there are a couple of other shares happening. She does vegan marshmallows on there. I'm peeking into all the little shares. My Yuba Divi says, I'm grateful for choice making and for the precious time we are allotted in our days. Yes. And Aki Zach says, thank you, Mayuba, for sharing. I'm grateful to be able to hear the wonderful guidance at any moment in the day to help balance me out when I'm lost. Grateful for the relationships that I have with women now and understand how masculine and feminine energy work together. Grateful for the sword that is given so people can't take advantage of me. Shring! I'm no longer a victim, but rising to the head of the snake. I see. Intellectually defend myself and those around me. Woo, it's just an outpouring. Wow, listen, we're gonna have church up in here. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I shouldn't say that. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. I was just being silly. Let me stop. The I don't even have words other than it is a beautiful thing. I came on here to talk about blue flame, okay? And now we on gratitude and celebrating the wonderful attributes and the wonderful gifts, the wonderful gifts that have been given to us. It's funny I say gift because that takes me down a path. I have a story. I remember I was working with some youth. This is back in 2018, 2018, if I'm not mistaken. And we would do meditation and we would do visualization. So after our meditation and visualization, which was like breath work and all of that in the morning period. So what I see now is the dawning. We pulled a card and we were talking about gift and what a gift was. And every student, there were 28 of them in the class, and every student identified, with the exception of one, identified a gift as a physical item that somebody bought for another one, typically wrapped in paper and put a bow on it. And this one mind out of 28, one mind said, but we are gifts. And a gift is not just something that you buy from somebody. A gift can be something that you share with somebody. A gift can be words that you say to another person. A child said that. He said a gift can be something, and it literally brought me, I know I'm saying it, I think about when Chief teaches us about gifts, that they're to be given, they can be given, right? And this is literally what this little mind was saying. A gift doesn't have to be a thing in a box that somebody bought for you, right? That can't really do anything for you, but a gift can be something a person gives to you. It can be words they share with you. It could be a hug. Like he went down a long list of examples that helped us to understand what he was sharing. So when you share and you say that, these are gifts, indeed they are. Indeed they are. And it comes from community. It's sourced from community. It's sourced from having leadership and a solid jegna such as Chief Yuya. That's where those gifts come from. And we can have this outpouring of gratitude because of that. And that wise counsel is there. That wise counsel is very much there. MGC says, I'm grateful for wisdom provided here, and I know to elevate and grow. There's so much here. I'm grateful for the constant push to grow, going beyond the limitations. Just an outpouring. She says to Christina Dion, we don't pray in our community. However, have you approached the Creator and asked for wisdom in finding other employments? Yes. I'm sorry. I think something was going off. Sorry. This is wise counsel, Christina Dion. This is wise counsel. If you're still listening, I want to continue to acknowledge that you asked for help, and that has been given. Chief has given a very powerful question, something that I think you should respond to, and take with you. Really important. Finding out if you've connected, approached the creeds and asked for wisdom in finding other employment. That's the direction. That's the instruction. That's the instruction. Thank you very much, Chief. Thank you. I needed that because thank you. Zach Latimer says, Chief says say that you have more. Grow, 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 grow. Yes. Hashtag grow. Indeed. Wow. Great. Just like outpouring, 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 outpouring. It is beautiful. Thankful it's not snowing where I live. Yeah, well, okay. I'll take that one. Sure. No problem. No problem. Zach says, I'm thankful for cultures that will protect me from anxiety and depression. Indeed. Indeed. Offering you an edict for every single challenge and every single, moment that you could fall into a space of depression. We have a community that has an answer for adversity. Every turn that you take, there's an answer. There's wise counsel. You name it, it's there. You name it, it's there, whether you want to heed it or not. Jason, welcome. Jason, thank you for pausing and sharing with us. I am grateful for your share. It's a it's a good bit of time away because it's now what 8:32, and this was shared 8:18. So I apologize. He says, I am grateful to be accepted, to learn from Anu, to step beyond what I am programmed to do. Indeed, indeed. That is, to be able to identify that and to talk about it from a space where it's like you know that this is, you have been set up, and so now you have an opportunity to choose. Thank you. Chief says, one of your Anu sisters has a blue flame glass fireplace. She toasts vegan marshmallows. Oh my goodness, well. Vegan marshmallows, that's a whole other thing. But yes, it must be nice and toasty. Whoever that is, it must be nice and toasty. Put it in the chat. Say it in the chat. MGC Randy says, I'm grateful for the opportunity to become stronger, faster, smarter, wiser, wealthier. Yes. And because we're going to be celebrating. We will be celebrating those things. And we're going to be able to pause and look at each other and say, wow, look, you have grown. Be able to say to yourself, wow, you have grown. Indeed, actually grown. And be able to celebrate it. I just want to say too, like, just being able to pause and acknowledge the ending of the cycle. And Chief has, excuse the background noise. Chief has a breakdown on Sabbath, where he speaks about the cycles, right? And I think it's really important for us to be able to pause and acknowledge after the end of the cycle, but also acknowledge that this is the same way Elohim paused to acknowledge, this was good. What was accomplished was good. What was done was good, was complete. And you acknowledge that by acknowledging the ending of a cycle, and so we're called to mirror the Elohim even here on this planet. And so when we do this new fellowship at the end of the cycle, we're honoring that, right? We're doing the same. We're doing the same. Master Menelik says, grateful for Chief Yuya's challenge to grow, revealing where I need strengthening, but also where I'm able to strengthen others. Yes. Jason also says, Master Menelik, I'm grateful I'm under a roof in this 40 snowy weather here. Minus 40. Is that what you said? Is it minus 40? Is that what I'm reading? Oh. Yeah. Is this, because I wouldn't know what to do. Oh my goodness. I want to do this already. Just reading minus 40. Wow. Grateful indeed for covering. Indeed, indeed, indeed. Thank you. Thank you for sharing and sharing so liberally too. Imanaya says, grateful for being able to share creativity with sisters and be free in our femininity. Indeed. Yes, countless hours. Yes, indeed, Akizak. Countless hours and never checking the time, never checking the hours at all. That's, yeah, no other place but this place. And if you don't know the value of this place, you're missing out. But if you didn't know, now you know. So, okay. Somebody says, thank you for lessons on manhood that have helped to improve my relationship with my father. So just what you said made me think of, how, the women's ministry and the men's ministry, we, for those of you who may not have known, like, we would meet in the past together. Now we meet and the women's ministry meets separately from the men's ministry. That does not mean that we are entity of ourselves and in and of ourselves and we have no masculine direction. That's not real. That's what is actually happening. We have men directing us, but we meet on Sabbath as sisters. And one of the topics we're about to explore and go into is what is a woman, and so part of it will be exploring and digging through Shahrazad Ali's work. But even before that, looking at the mind of Shahrazad Ali and the man that led to the mind, right? And the nation of Islam that led to the woman that we're going to be studying. So all of that, and I mention it because her work really will help us to dig into the mind that created, women who chose to live like broken lives, right? And, I think that's really crucial. Sometimes we hear about people who have community, but there isn't that active examining of self through the lens of, vetted scholars who can say, yeah, this psychological breakdown happened because of this. And you're exhibiting this behavior, you're doing these things because of this psychological breakdown. So it's beautiful to be in a community where we can, strengthen our relationships by examining ourselves, examining our behaviors, and, pushing each other for growth, yeah, it doesn't exist anywhere else. It really doesn't. Nowhere else I've experienced, to tell you the truth. Nowhere else I've experienced. So I think I'm grateful for that, and thank you for bringing that up because it made me think of the amount of study that time that we put in together, and how that study is supposed to help to mold us, mold our minds, and all of that. It is. Akizak also says, I'm grateful for all those who could have quit in Anu when they perceived it was tough and kept going. Indeed. I appreciate I'm gonna go back up and take I appreciate because I had it on for a while. I appreciate this. I wanted to I think I'm missing. Okay. Greetings, Jessica Wright. I think I saw the name and I wanted to greet you. That was so long ago, so I apologize. Please, I apologize for that. But greetings, Jessica Wright. New here, just enjoying learning and the positivity. Thanks for sharing, Naya. All right, big up Naya. Big up Naya. Thank you for coming on into the space. If there's anything you want to share that you're grateful for, Jessica Wright, please, don't feel shy or anything. Just jump on in the chat and share it on up. We're all grateful and sharing about food and everything. I'm sorry, I can't see the comments, so I apologize if I'm skipping over anyone. Oh, okay. Not really. Okay, good. I did. Now it's back, so I'm glad. Ooh, all right. So Blue Flame is not even gonna be a talk conversation because I have all this. Hey, listen, I am moving with the flow. Go with the flow. Yes, feel free to jump in. Jessica, right? Master Menelik says the water's fine. Is there anything that you're grateful for that you want to share? All right, thank you. Thank you for that. Imanaya says, I'm grateful for learning Hebrew. Yeah, listen to me. Let's talk about the Hebrew for a second. Let's pause for the Hebrew for a second. I don't know no Hebrew like that. I do not really. I'm learning. I'm learning through what Chief has shared with us, and I'm learning through what Achoti Yafe has shared with us, because she has done a not done. Don't listen to me. It's wrong. She has done a presentation on a workshop on Hebrew. Hebrew basics, and it helped you to really see. This was the second Hebrew class that I actually ever took in my entire life, right? But the value in it, right? And when I first heard, okay, shift to Hebrew, I was over there learning conversational Hebrew. Get away, right? It has its value, don't get me wrong, because we want to be able to communicate with each other. The value in being able to open up the Hebrew Testament and scrutinize and decipher words that I used to read in English, and now I have a Hebrew word that I can follow, not just follow what the word means in Hebrew, but actually break down all of the, not poetically, not poetically, Chief, but you break down each utim, each letter, each Hebrew letter, and see what they mean based on the symbolism. Look at the numerical value of that word and compare it to other words in the Hebrew Testament, and see which other words actually line up and have the same numerical value and what that means. How do they correlate? That I am still, my brain is still absolutely blown about that, because I can say no, and I guess this is just a free build based on what's happening, because we all going in on gratitude, and I'm like, yeah, I'm 100% with it. I am so grateful, because I'm telling you, I used to sit down in a church on a Sunday Like, and everybody's going in on the New Testament, and I'm over here with, because I want to be reading Psalms, talking about, Psalms is so interesting. And I would listen, and you're taking in, but you're taking in information, but to a certain degree, it's not even, they didn't, haven't even, delve into it, haven't even looked at the Hebrew. And this is not from a place of pointing fingers at all. It's from a place of me saying, when I was younger, I really, really, really loved reading scripture, but wasn't even connecting with what the original meanings of some of the words meant. And even the concepts, didn't have a clue. So it's beautiful when you can become an older person and you can look and say, okay, I have a community that actually charges me to do more. Take your little English and park it on the side and pause for a cause and say, no, I could learn something new. And I am not able to speak Hebrew fluently, but let me tell you, there is there's a power in being able to look at words and read them and be able to decipher the truth behind them. There's something, it changes your whole mind. It changes your whole mind, right? It overpowers the brain and changes the whole mind. So your statement put me there with the Hebrew, and just a lot of it connects to a lot of what Zach is saying in terms of he's just unearthing all of what he can be grateful, and he is grateful for. And it's like, there's just so much, there's so much there. It's talk about the number 5 and like refinement, right? Talk about being cultured and refined. I remember when I just started in a new reformation was the word, and it still is. Renew your mind, and reformation is in that edification and that spiritual growth. I ain't gonna lie, right? I don't even know how to find a word sometimes. But yeah, it's just, yeah, just, and it's not about gathering, information. It's about being knowledgeable and wisdom, you know, and the more you're able to gather that and know the words of the Most High, those are the words that dictate our lives. Those are the means of culture and the way of life, the way, the way that actually dictates how we should function. And then we choose righteousness. We don't choose something unholy. Chief says the blue flame for me is the communication of the throat chakra, where I start to speak with a higher self. I will speak more creatively and listen more wisely. L, consciousness through communication. L as in Elohim, El, the Most High. L, consciousness through communication. Please correct me if I'm wrong about the L part. Indeed, it is that throat chakra. Thank you for sharing that piece on communication, where I start to speak with the higher self. I start to speak with the higher self. I start to speak more creatively and listen more wisely. That connecting piece, it's not just about, because you're like the throat chakra and communication. The important piece in communication is that listening piece. It's the speaking and expressing that creates it. Speaking creatively, that listening piece is crucial. It's crucial. It's almost like it creates a balance when it comes to communication. Thank you for that, Chief Yuya. Thank you for introducing another layer, for us to grow. So that blue flame, think about communication. Think about the area of the throat, where speech comes from. right? It doesn't, mind. Yeah, this is the brain, sorry, but mind. It starts in the mind, but it's projected through here. Very important. And so that's why even studying the word and studying proverbs, studying psalms is so important, because when we begin to speak, we'll realize that here we're not just throwing out words, right? And what we're sharing and saying is selective, and represents our culture more and more. It's not just, it doesn't just sound like everybody else. It's thoughtful. I am grateful to be able to express myself free of condemnation of outsiders, because I know who I am as a man. Thank you. Hey. Chief US says, peace, Jessica, right? I trust your evening is serene enough. Welcome. All right. All right. All right. Thank you. Story time. That was so long ago. Oh my goodness. Story time is over. It's over. It's over. I am just gonna keep scrolling. There are the minus 40 degrees is still happening. That conversation. What's happening? Grateful for the steady reminders from you fine folk that we all have a role to fill. I love watching you all do your thing. Indeed, 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 indeed. Indeed. It is. It is. It is. Those are the moments when you pause for, like a mental reflection, and you do the smile. But, just to speak a little bit faster, because sometimes it's not a smile, it's a whole hand clap and a flick back my head. So sometimes it's a little bit worse. Yafe says, I'm grateful for having basic needs met and attaining it without struggle. Things would be very different, but I have been blessed by the Most High. Yes, I indeed. Elohim on the 1-2s. In the behind the scenes, give thanks. Give thanks. She says, I love that, Naya. I didn't have any of the food you mentioned. I can feel your content in your words. That's touching. Thank you. Okay. Oh boy. Yeah, I didn't think so. I thought that was a mistake with the whole minus 40. Because if it turns 40 where I am here, I'm fussing. I shouldn't, but I'm fussing. So earlier on I paused and spoke a little bit about, just a tiny smidgen, about the cycles of Sabbath. And so here is the Chief Yuya podcast on the Sabbath. It's a Sabbath podcast. So those of you who are listening, or maybe you're joining a little later on, and you're like, what's that? Where can I find that? That's where you can find that. You could also go into the chat later on, not a chat, sorry, the description later on. What I will do is I will add the link to the bottom of the description of this particular video. All right. So if you're listening later on, it'll be there. Just scroll on down there or type from here. Thank you, Inanaya. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Here's another YouTube. Oh, here's the YouTube video version as well. Thank you. The blue flame. So Sister Yafe said the blue flame. This was a long time ago, y'all. Let me see if I can hustle. The blue flame is the hottest part of the fire. Yep. And indicates complete combustion. I think of the complete destruction of old habits and ways as I move through levels of growth to be more divine. Yes, the blue flame is the hottest. The orange, the levels of colors that we predominantly see are actually the lowest levels of heat and temperature within a flame. All right. I mean, who would have thought that a flame has, composition? Like who would think a flame has structure to it where you could like look at the colors and identify what that means in terms of temperature? I never knew that. I never knew that. I learned that when I presented on the elements. It was an internal presentation, an internal workshop where we did the elements of fire, water, ether, and just exploring fire and what is fire, which was Chief's instruction, because I was going off on a tangent. That's the chaos for you. Everywhere except where you're supposed to be going. Thank you very much, Chief. Thank you very much. Because, that was one of the questions he asked is, like, what is water? What is fire? And so that got me into thinking about, well, yeah, what is fire? And, like actually discovering, there are all these colors. So the blue flame is about upwards of 3,000 degrees. 3,000. Yes. 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 Can you imagine? So when you think about, that's another way. I like that you shared that because that's another way to think about how that fire burns away, right? When we think of in supreme mathematics, when we think of 8, which is build, destroy, there has to be a destroying in order for new habits to be built, so, and they're happening simultaneously, I would say. I don't think, it's like first step this and step that, I think in life things happen, almost like, yeah, like they're integrated, we see things in a very segregated way, but I think many times these things happen and they're, not necessarily in phases, but there's that gradation, right? But there's a interlocking as well too, like they're happening almost at the same time. Jason says, I'm grateful for this chat at a time where it has been heavy on my heart. This has been light and lifting, perfect timing. Give thanks, give thanks. Thank you for coming into the chat and sharing and bringing some of that lightness and offering reciprocity, and, offering your gratitude. Because again, when we offer worship and praise, it's because, like that's what is going to be magnified. So that's, it's a beautiful thing to be able to share in this space and watch the reciprocity flow through, and it build us. Yafe says, well, how does the blue flame relate to gratitude? That's a great question. That is a great question. That Master Menelek, I want to read what she says, but I don't want to skip. That's great, Jason. Glad that you got some lightness of heart. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. That's why we're here. That is why we are closing out this cycle of work and being tied up with, the outside world, and, being able to share in a space where we have that set apart and we can really bask in that, in the light of the men who offer a vision, and the sisters can be in the space and just, do their thing. I'm grateful that you are able to find a space to, lighten up. I am. Chief says, Yafe, blue flame communication directs straight to higher consciousness. Gratitude is an acknowledgement that higher power is providing grace and answers. Look at this. Yeah, sometimes we doing things and we don't even know. We think we have one answer. Be quiet. You didn't have it. There's more coming for you. Just stay in Stay in the space, stay in the flow, stay in the, in the present. Stay in the present. Chief Yuya, thank you so much. Because this is why you shared. It's that connecting piece from earlier where you shared about the blue flame being the throat chakra, and that being a piece about communication. And there's an exchange happening. You speak about speaking creatively and listening wisely. In our expression of gratitude, there's an exchange happening. There's an exchange actually happening. Like I'm reading this, I'm like, wow, gratitude is an acknowledgement that higher power is providing grace and answers. And we're able to offer that gratitude. We're able to say, yeah, no, I'm grateful because this is happening, that's happening. It is so beautiful. This is like, I guess if we were to exist in a space where we were surrounded by blue flame, this might be what it would be like. In the physical realm, we will all be burnt up. We would all be burnt up, burnt to, yes, exactly, to high heavens, to high heavens. But indeed, and grateful for the question too, because you know, again, sometimes we come in with what we think, and then we get the actual answer if we stay present enough. So I really appreciate that. I appreciate this space to, open up and communicate. All right. And to be able to offer up the gratitude, really, because now that's an exchange happening. There's a push and pull happening. Aki Zach says, you better speak on it. I was heavy on belief and not on faith. And for that, I'm grateful. In truth, in truth, in truth, faith is a knowing, you know, faith is a knowing. It's not a if, but maybe, or a hope. It's not a if, but maybe, or a hope. It's that ability to decipher. When you could deciphering is telling the truth, right? There's a level of knowing and so on that has to happen. When we could say, I have faith. I have faith, and that's directly connected to gratitude. That piece that your chief just shared about the gratitude being acknowledgement that the higher power is providing grace and answers. Because faith is knowing, and if you know, it's not because you're hoping and you're crossing your fingers and you wonder, because it means that there's a consistency. There's a consistency. Like this evening, listen, is a consistency in this conversation, this sharing, this community build that's happening here. And for those of you who are sitting and listening, you can't help but to be moved to share something in the chat. You can, because I'm like literally, I'm sitting here with things that I want to say. That's what I'm gonna say. But we are here building, and Chief is pulling back these layers about the blue flame and communication, and the brothers are over here spilling all of that gratitude out and just going in nonstop. There's so much scrolling I'm yet to do. All right, let me pause, because I think there's some other questions too, and I'm all the way in here. Aki Zach says, I'm grateful for all the struggles that I had to endure, which allowed me to be able to see what is put in front of me. Yeah, that deciphering, being able to see the truth. Being able to see the truth. That's good training. Strong training. good strong training. And for like for those of you who are listening, our community is community. We can't function without community. It's not possible. It's not possible. I'm telling you, it's not possible. And maybe you hear about the conscious community. A community has to have a set of laws, a set of, I will go as far as to say, programming, right? And when I say that, it literally is, that's what culture does. It says, here's how we function, here are edicts and laws, here's how we do things, here's how you can decipher the rest of the world or your world, And when you have community, you have people who see eye to eye, or looking at something from, the same lens. um, it makes it easier. It does. It makes that struggle easier. It makes it easier to be able to see, what our shortcomings were and what some of the current shortcomings are. Um, yeah. Even with the challenge that Chief has given us, it's like you get, and I think Master Manilek mentioned that earlier, being able to, I think so, that the challenge allows us to see where our shortcomings are, what it is that we are not doing well at all, you know. It might be with the writing, it might be, which might not just be the writing, but self reflection, you know. So it's a beautiful thing to be able to see how, there are all of these lessons hidden in the challenges that we have been given, and it's only to make us grow, only to make us grow. Sister Yafe says it's like a phone call and putting in a phone call, and the other line always picks up ready with gems. And I want to scroll down really quickly because she says not necessarily Yafe. Okay. Okay. I think I missed a couple of things. I am grateful for the struggles that have yet to show themselves, because I have a community and spiritual tools to overcome any obstacle. Indeed. The struggles that have not yet showed up, right? Yeah. Hey, because we will be forever on this planet, not forever stuck on this planet, but on this plane of existence, we will be forever working through those struggles. We will be, and I don't want to say we'll be forever striving, but there will always be more places that we have to grow and more ways that we have to grow. Always, always, always. I am grateful for pain because it gives me some contrast of joy, and not so you don't take joy for granted. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I put my skills to the test too. I'm grateful for various viewpoints that allow me an opportunity to grow and put my skills to the test too. Thank you. What? I guess I just, you haven't stopped. Keep it going. Yafe says, I pulled out my esoterics notes so I could be ready for this fellowship. But you're funny. Right. You see, you're funny. Yes, that hot. I'm really grateful to be here. Yes, I see that. And we are all grateful to be able to share and build in this space. Yes, we do. We walk by faith and not by sight, not by the things that we see. Um, Jason says, building on the blue flame, it is the cleanest, purest part of the flame, while the outer parts burn with more impurities. This is correct. Then those impurities, that's what kind of reduces, because they burn slower, so it reduces the level of heat um, in those orange sections of the flame. This is true. She says, right, so he's taking us, he's pulling us. Come on, y'all. Come on. She says the blue is the creator and the other colors are the created. Getting to the blue flame is transforming into the likeness of the original creator. The blue is the creator and the other colors are the created. Getting to the blue flame is transforming into the likeness of the original creator. So we, even though we have soul, right? We have a portion given to us, right? And that animates us. Like, are you saying that our transformation, as you said, I just thought about lightning. How and why? You can share how and why you thought of lightning. You say getting to the blue flame is transforming into the likeness of the original creator. So, oh, let me take this off. So even though we have a soul and we're functioning from the soul that's animating us, we're still on this journey. We're still moving toward the, I don't even want to say a space of perfection, but maybe it is, right? But in order for, even though we have a soul, we still have to transcend some of the experiences that we have on this earthly plane. And part of the transcending is the is part, I should ask, is the part of the transcending that transformation, so that we can be more in that likeness. Because I think about the fact that we have soul, and maybe I'm stuck on the soul part, and I shouldn't be. But when I think that we have soul, I imagine that the soul would allow for us to become in that likeness of the creator. So I wonder now if there's like a connection between soul and that transformation, or soul and that blue flame. She says the blue flame is a complete cycle of combustion, whereas the other colors are sporadic combustion. Let being on fire, and then like being on fire and then losing momentum consistently. So moving toward blue is moving toward complete obedience to purpose, where there are no lapses in what activity and in activity, divine activity and functional purpose. I see. So right, so there is no right. So the blue flame would be the purest. So you're moving toward obedience, complete obedience to purpose. So there's that connects to. It makes me think of the idea that the blue flame is that space where it's complete combustion and it's pure. It's at its purest. The impurities exist further out in the section where the orange flames exist. So there is a slowing down. There is a hindrance. Those impurities would then probably represent the hindrances or blockages that we create. and the lapses, I would say, um, that prevent us from accomplishing, prevent us from moving forward. Um, she says blue flame would be the soul, I see, as white would be the spirit, and the other yellows and oranges would be the human condition. There you go. Right. So hence the slowing down, right? Hence the impurities. I see. So blue flame would be the soul, right? Which makes sense because if that's what's animating, then that can take us to what be moving closer to um being like in likeness to the original creator. I'm sorry. I hope y'all can't hear all of that. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Chief Yuya. Thank you so much because the I just think that sometimes you give and you give and you give and you're always here to build and to share with us and that's a huge there's a huge amount of dedication that we could see in that. So I really appreciate that because I came in with, yes, blue flame, but you have given me so much more. So much more. Because, so now I can see myself as a flame. Now I can see myself as a flame and I can see how fulfilling. I'm going to go back to your point, Sister Yafe, because I didn't read it. But yeah, I can see how we can use the flame as a personification of, who we are and our growth, right? Our movement from the orange and the red areas of impurity and very slow movement, right? And it's not lukewarm. But it reminds me of the idea of there's a part in scripture that speaks about spitting out what is lukewarm, right? So it's either you're hot or you're cold, And this connects to um, part of the build from something unholy because I think Sister Yafe spoke on, just moving away from being cold or functioning from a cold space and moving toward holy, what is holy, moving toward functioning from a space where it's warmer, right? And I think of that space of holiness or rightness when I think of the blue flame. Oh God, I knew it. I was just like, no, it's. Oh my gosh. You're as cold as ice, in it willing to sacrifice. Sound like you need a rhythm, Chief. You, yeah? Sound like you need a rhythm. Sound like you're about to bust loose on a track or something. You don't want no smoke, okay? It's so funny. Everybody's gone quiet now. Everybody is gone quiet now. But I really, really appreciate that. I am not a flamer at all. So, you know. And I appreciate that you shared with us that you are not a flamer. Thank you very much. Um, I want to put these up, and I do want to get to your point, Sister Yafe, so I will. But I really like to spotlight um, some of the really powerful points that are shared. And so I think I read them, but I'll read them again so that way I'm reading them while they're on the screen. The blue flame is a complete cycle of combustion, whereas the other colors are sporadic combustion. let being on fire and then losing like being on fire and then losing momentum consistently, right? So it's like, "Arr, arr." I guess like a car that cannot start. Your engine need a no spark plug. All right. Chief also says, so moving toward blue flame is moving toward complete obedience to purpose, where there are no lapses in divine activity and functional purpose. And Sister Yafe, I wanted to get to read. Lightning strikes are directed. They may seem sporadic, but it hits where it means to. Also, they can spark fire, which destroys yet open space for buildings. It destroys yet open space for, I guess, new buildings, you're saying? All right, thank you very much. That was interesting. Interesting. I know I understand why you were saying you thought about lightning. Right. It's funny. I guess it has a little bit of build destroy in there. Um, Chief says blue flame would be the soul, right? And I wondered about how the soul was connected in this way, um, in all of this, what he has been sharing, as white would be the spirit, and the yellows and oranges would be the human condition. So if you're not screenshotting all of these beautiful pieces of information and knowledge, rather, and then using it, especially maybe in your meditations, um, yeah, just scroll up quickly and just take some screenshots. All right. But I know sometimes the live chat saves, but then you have to scroll forward and move the um, move the play button forward in order to access all of the information. So screenshots. Thank you very much, Chief. Really appreciate it. I really enjoyed um, the outpouring and the gratitude, and then the relationship that you were able to show us between that outpouring and that gratitude and blue flame, and also showing and communication rather, and how that relationship between the the Elohim or the creator and the providing of answers for us. I really think that's really important, that connection, because when we do see we have answers to adversity in our lives, and we are able to see, literally see that we get wise counsel. We get wise counsel when, yeah, we ask for it and it's provided. Faith is faith is strengthened. I wanted to say faith gets turned up. I just didn't say because it's like it sounds too bad. But faith is strengthened there. Faith is strengthened there, and then you can speak openly with gratitude, and it magnifies. It magnifies what you're paying honor to and what you're offering praise and worship for. I am grateful to have shared with you all. I am going to close out our evening session. It is and has been beautiful always. If there's anything else, maybe additional questions that you all have, please jump into the comment section and share them. Please express your gratitude as well in the comment section. If you listen to this presentation and you learned something, you built from it, it offered you levity of heart, or it offered you a space and time to feel free and just decompress, hey, that's a beautiful thing, right? That's a beautiful thing. Um, Sabbath is in full swing for all of us. So for those of you who may not honor or practice Sabbath, we do not engage in work. We do not drive. We do not take the bus. Thank you for sitting with us this evening, Sister Moreyah. You're welcome. You are welcome. We do not spend money. There's a list, and some of the details of how we function within Anu culture on Sabbath is shared in the Anu Way. So the Anu Way, you can, if you go to the Anu Life Global Ministries website, you can download a copy of the Anu Way there. You can dig into the culture and the edicts. You could read it in reverse. You could read it from the middle. You could read it from front to back, which makes sense, right? But it's also we're charged to read it every day and to read it out loud so that we can hear, right? It's almost like you're programming and reprogramming yourself. So if you're interested, get a copy of the Anu Way. For those of you who are if you appreciated the last few months of Show and Prove on the Enlightenment and Transformation channel, please feel free to express that in the comment section. Like, share, subscribe. Follow us. Follow us on Instagram as well, and share our Anu Life Global Ministries channel with others so that they can come in. Thank you all for joining, sisters. Thank you all for joining, brothers. And I see Anway Volume 1. Oh, Sister Naya, thank you so much for being on point. She shared the link to the Anway Volume 1. I appreciate that. I don't think we have anything else. We will be on a little bit of a break for some of the affirmatives and the Show and Prove for the month of December, but we'll be back. We are here though. Chatting it up and having a beautiful community exchange on Yom Shishi, every Yom Shishi. We will be here. So join us and you be here too. All right. Peace, everyone. Enjoy your Sabbath. Rest well. Rest well deserved. Peace. Peace, peace, peace. All right. That's all right. That's all right.